Hi there, welcome to the first episode of my 10-minute moan of today. The topic of this one is another 2 murders by knives in the streets of the United Kingdom that I've found that are not covered by the national media. Now this is a theme that is amazing to me and it seems to be an increasing number. It might have happened all the time, I've only just stumbled on it recently. But this one is really bizarre. It must be because on Twitter and X, I'm seeing more and more of these things, that the way the analytics work, there's more and more of them getting flung in my timeline. But I stumbled upon a post today by Dandaru Online, who I've never heard of before. And it's probably no wonder, because Dandaru Online described herself as a one-stop social media platform for Zimbabweans. I am not from Zimbabwe, so that's probably why I've never heard of them. But their story tells you about a 32-year-old Zimbabwean man, Tanaka Zivania, who's been charged with the murder of a 28-year-old woman in Gloucester. Okay. Police were called to the junction of Paul Street and Tarrington Road, Gloucester, around 1:45 a.m. yesterday, which was Tuesday. They put this out last night. It was reported that a woman sustained suspected stab wounds and sadly died in the scene. I then click on to their link, which takes me to their website, and their headline is Zimbabwean Tanaka Zivania charged with the murder of 28-year-old Zanele Sibanda in the UK. The 32-year-old Zimbabwean man was charged with murder following a fatal stabbing in Gloucester. Tanaka Zivania of Dora Walk in Gloucester had been charged with the murder of 28-year-old Zanele Sibanda, 28-year-old female. Police were called to the junction, which reiterates what I've already told you, of Paul Street and Tarrington Road in Gloucester at around 1:45 a.m. Tuesday, August the 27th. It was reported that a woman sustained suspected stab wounds. Sadly, she died at the scene. Her next of kin have been told and are being supported by specially trained officers. Sibanda has been remanded in custody and will appear at Cheltenham Magistrates Court on Thursday, 29th of August, which is today. Gloucestershire Police said a man has been charged with murder in connection with a fatal stabbing in Tredworth, Gloucester, in the early hours of the morning. Tanaka Zivania, aged 32, of Dora Walk in Gloucester, has been charged with the murder of 28-year-old Zanele Sibanda. Police have been called to the junction of Paul Street and Tarrington Road at 1:45 on Tuesday with reports that a woman had sustained suspected stab wounds. She was pronounced deceased at the scene. Ms Savannah's next of kin have been informed and have been supported by family liaison officers. Zivania has been remanded in custody and is due to appear in Cheltenham Magistrates Court tomorrow, Thursday, the 29th of August, which is now today. So this got me thinking, has any of our national media picked this up? And no, the answer is no. I was running a few outlets, but let me just find those outlets for you. Now, the first one, I thought, well, there we go. This has been dealt with nationally with the BBC. But when you look into it, it's actually in the local news for Gloucester section of their website. I don't think that will get me any hits. I then found ITVX and thought, well, they've got it on their national website. However, it's only when you get into your own specific area for the West Country that you'll find the same story, not in their nationals. I then found it in a newspaper, man charged with murder after woman stabbed to death in Gloucester. It was in the Gloucestershire Live local paper. So, while I was doing that though, the first thing I done was I googled Gloucester stabbing to try and find the story. And I found another one. Not Tanaka Zivania. To find his story, I had to put his name into Google. But when I put in Gloucester stabbing, I found another horrific story. And this, again, was put up just today in an outlet called Your Herefordshire. I can't find it anywhere else. And it's in UK news. A man has been found guilty of stabbing a man to death in Gloucester following an argument. Initially, I thought it was the same one, but this was a man that was killed this time. and this man has been found guilty. The one I spoke about first is only going to court today. Don't know how he's pled yet. This is another disturbing story. A man who's found guilty of the murder of Kidane Gebrehiwot, I do apologise if I pronounced that incorrectly, who was fatally stabbed in Gloucester last year, 2023. A jury just took under 5 hours to return a verdict against Samwen Muiruri, aged 32, of Tredworth Way in Gloucester. Kidane, aged 55, suffered a single stab wound to the torso during an attack in Arthur Street in Gloucester around 1 a.m. on Sunday, the 6th of August 2023. During the trial at Gloucester Crown Court, jurors heard how the two men who had met each other on a previous occasion had bumped into each other by chance on the night. CCTV footage secured as part of the investigation showed the men together on a number of streets before an argument took place on Eastgate Street. Mr. Gebrehiwot walked away and Muiruri walked to his home nearby. He picked up a knife and returned to confront Mr. Gebrehiwot on the street outside his home. Muiruri stabbed him once to the chest, fatally wounding him. Members of the public heard Muiruri, who was wearing a distinctive red and white Arsenal Football Club jacket, say, "I'm done with you now," before walking off. Mr. Gebrehiwot collapsed at the scene and, despite the best efforts of passers-by and emergency responders, died from his injuries. The knife blade used in the stabbing had broken off at the handle. The handle was later found to have Muiruri's DNA on it, and the knife was from a set found at his home. Muiruri was arrested from his home address the following day. The jacket and trainers, which matched those seen in CCTV footage, were seized from his bedroom, are found to have Mr. Gebrehiwot's blood on them. He denied his involvement throughout, and at the end of the 2-week trial, the jury found him guilty of both murder and possession of a knife in a public place. Detective Inspector Adam Stacey of the Major Crime Investigation Team said, "It's been just over 12 months since Kidane was cruelly killed. This has been a difficult time for his family and close friends, I bet it has. Kidane was well known and well loved in the community. He was described as being very caring and was affectionately known as Uncle. Muiruri, on the other hand, is a very angry and dangerous individual who has a propensity for extreme violence. His premeditated and cowardly act has robbed Kidane's family of his life. I welcome the jury's verdict and hope that Kidane's loved ones can now find closure and continue with their lives, albeit without him. Muiruri has been remanded in custody and is due to be sentenced at Gloucester Crown Court tomorrow, Thursday, the 29th of August, which is now today. So Gloucester Crown Court is going to be a busy place today with sentencing one guy and listening to another guy's plea. Now, I'm kind of guessing this is quite a quiet wee place. Yet here we go again. And there's only two things that's happening here. Either the mainstream media don't want to cover these stories for whatever reason, or there's that bloody many of them. They're not actually worthy of national coverage anymore. And this is two people that have died in the streets of Britain with knife wounds, one this week and one a year ago that the guy's just been found guilty yesterday. And it's incredible. It's just like, what is the true level of this? Are we allowed as citizens of the United Kingdom to be concerned by this yet? Or if we talk up about it, will we be told we are far right and racist? Because that's what's happened when people protested not so long ago, a few weeks ago, after 3 children were killed in the streets. And again, I'll repeat, the government still not told us what they're going to do about knife crime. Yet, the previous government set about something at the start of the year that comes into place on midnight, on Sunday, came into place, a 29-day amnesty to hand in zombie knives over 8 inches long, and machetes. An amnesty where they'll actually compensate you for taking these things off the street. And after the 29-day amnesty, the new law kicks in, it'll be illegal to own, sell, or make these things. But the Labour government aren't telling us this. And I can't get my head around this. This should be front and centre. This should have been front and centre the day after those young girls were murdered in the streets of Southport. But no, Kier Starmer decided on a different narrative, which he's doubled down on just as recently as yesterday, the day before, from the grounds of Downing Street, where he starts telling us about these far-right protesters with their swastika tattoos and their Nazi salutes and cenotaphs. Why did he not stand in the grounds of 10 Downing Street and tell us about this new law coming in and give us a wee bit of hope that these things will decrease. But it's bonkers. I find it absolutely mental that these things about these far-right protests are more important to him, the government, the judiciary, and the media, than the mental amount of knife crime that we're seeing every day. I'm going to keep highlighting this until something happens, because this is not right. And I, as a British citizen, are concerned with it. That doesn't make me a racist, far-right Nazi, or swastika tattooed thug. That makes me a concerned citizen, and something's to get done, and it's your job to do it. If you enjoyed this video, it's a strange thing to say, if you enjoyed me highlighting this in video, please give the video a thumbs up. If you've not already done so, please subscribe and hit the notifications bell for the channel. But most importantly of all, unless you're the ever-increasing amount of nutters that need to be walking about with knives in this day and age in the streets of the United Kingdom, or the government, the media and the judiciary that don't seem to be doing anything about it, see everyone else. Have a great day. Cheery bye now.